Okay, so the role of glutathione in men's health. Okay, so we start with getting familiar again with glutathione. What is glutathione before we discover its role? So glutathione is a tripeptide with many important functions for the health of the body. Glutathione with the chemical short form GSH contains this group SH, a sulfur hydride group. So it is a sulfur hydride containing tripeptide, meaning it has three peptides, three amino acids. That's why it's a tripeptide, and has several major physiological functions. And it maintains the SH groups of proteins in a reduced state. Now, this is going into a bit more detail because there are other peptides and proteins that also has this SH component, and participates in amino acid transport, detoxifies foreign compounds, enzymatically degenerates endogenous peroxide, so that's a powerful free radical, forms bioactive molecules, and acts as a coenzyme in several enzymatic reactions. So some of you may be familiar, in fact, glutathione works with the glutathione system of enzymes. Okay, so that's the chemical structure with the thiol or sulfur hydride group there has an H. So GSH, the G refers to the bulk of the molecule, whereas the SH refers to just one atom of sulfur and one atom of hydrogen. But these two together gives glutathione its versatility, but also makes it fragile. And the middle amino acid that contains this thiol group is cysteine, which means cysteine itself is also fragile. So there are at least 5 major functions of glutathione that we should know. It is the most important intracellular antioxidant, often called the master antioxidant. It is a powerful and versatile anti-inflammatory agent, powerful immune booster and modulator, a powerful and versatile detoxifying agent, and should be familiar with another important function of glutathione, which is as a signaling molecule to many cell systems. So studies have shown that patients under chronic disease states such as heart disease, stroke, arthritis, diabetes, and malignancies have lower plasma levels of glutathione than control subjects, suggesting that glutathione has a protective role against such diseases. So there are several studies quoted there, but there are many more. Okay. And by now, more than 100 diseases or disorders have been studied and shown to be associated with low glutathione levels. Conversely, studies also show that there is a correlation between high levels of glutathione activity and longevity. Right, so the 2 studies quoted here, one in 1998 that showed high levels of active glutathione, that is the GSH, in centenarians as compared to those who were 30 to 40 years younger than them. Then 4 years later, another study evaluated 87 healthy women aged 60 to 103. And the conclusion was that after 5 years, they found that those with high concentrations of glutathione in the blood were the ones who lived longer. Okay, so it's not just a blind claim. The high levels of glutathione correlates with long life. Okay, correlates with good health, correlates with less disease, correlates with longevity, and all this makes sense. Okay, let's now zoom onto the men. So what are the main health problems for men? I'll start with cardiovascular disease. It's high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Okay, and then cancer, lung, colorectal, prostate, etc. Diabetes and its complication, heart, kidneys, erectile dysfunction, eyes, etc. Neurodegenerative diseases, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington disease. Stroke can also overlap into number 4. And then sexual health, infertility, low libido, erectile dysfunction, benign prostatic hypertrophy or hyperplasia, and prostate cancer. Okay, so how can glutathione help? We go through one by one, starting with BP control. So studies have shown glutathione helps BP control by combating oxidative stress and making nitric oxide more bioavailable. Okay? And nitric oxide is the molecule that keeps the blood vessels open. Disturbances in glutathione metabolism might explain age-dependent increases in blood pressure. Study in rats showed induced glutathione depletion caused oxidative stress and hypertension. Okay, next is heart disease. That's the number one disease. 65% of men aged 50 and above have heart disease, whether they know or not. Compared to, for women, 45% of women aged 50 and above, while we start at 50, both comparing at 50. So relatively women are better off, yeah, below 50, but after 50, women catch up. Okay. But a reminder to women that heart disease, as the number one disease, is more a concern than breast cancer. In fact, more than all the cancers combined. Okay, the death from heart disease. Okay, so what are the contributing factors for heart disease? There's so many things, yeah? So many contributing factors to heart disease. Okay, and this can kill your heart. Each one are small knives. You combine all together, you get a big dagger. And as if that is not enough, right? Don't forget free radicals and inflammation and obesity and lack of exercise, hormonal problems, okay, poor nutrition and lifestyle, and just the fact that you are aging will add to many of these problems. Okay, so men, they join the heart attack club from age 35 onwards. Andropause, or the male menopause, will cause a gradual increase in heart risk. Andropause is due to low testosterone, but as we age, you also end up with low glutathione. So the combination of low testosterone and low glutathione equals very low protection for the heart. You compare with women, women really need to worry about heart attack only after menopause. Okay, before menopause, your estrogens protect you. So after menopause, just like the men have low testosterone, you will have low estrogen. And also with aging, you have low glutathione. So low estrogen and low glutathione equals low protection. Just to show that same thing happens in women, but starting point is later in women. So the difference in how the sex hormones decline with age is quite obvious, right? For the man, it's slow and steady decline. For a woman, right, there is sudden and massive decline at menopause. So that's why you may have perimenopausal symptoms. Whereas for the men, most men are clueless whether they are andropausal or what's it. They talk about the woman menopause, but their testosterone is also next to zero. Okay, but you can understand why men problems start even young at 35, 40 already they have problems. Whereas for women, maybe after 35 there may be some imbalance problem, hormonal imbalance, but most of the problems only appear after menopause with regards to sex hormone deficiency. Okay, so that's about the sex hormones. But you can see, right, the decline in glutathione as we age almost the same as the decline in testosterone. Then, meaning the same things happen. So the sex hormone is important, glutathione is important, and both are declining, going down the same way. So there's a double whammo. And affects your health significantly. Okay, and with the decline of glutathione, you can expect increase in oxidative stress, increase in toxicity, reduction in immunity. Okay, and many other systems will go haywire. Okay, so now this is the difference in the heart attack risk. I mentioned earlier on in men. After 35, the risk starts. Okay, where for women it only starts after menopause. But right? Because the decline in estrogen is so drastic, then the woman catch up and can cross over and can have more higher risk than men also later in life. Oops, sudah keluar ni. Huh? Okay. So just now we show so many risk factors, and probably the first 9 are the most commonly mentioned factors. But now that we've talked about low testosterone, you have to add that as a factor, and we talk about low glutathione, you have to add that as a factor. How can glutathione protect your heart? So the main risk factors for heart disease, the top 4 are inflammation, oxidized bad cholesterol, hypertension, and diabetes. And glutathione has a role in reducing or helping reduce the harm from all the 4 top risk factors. Glutathione plays an important role in the regulation of coagulation. It influences the functions of platelets, fibrin, thrombin, fibrinogen, and other factors involved in coagulation. It reduces clot formation and improves blood flow. So nothing escapes glutathione. Every part of your body, there's so many things in the regulation of your health. Here we're talking about coagulation. The very basic function of the red blood cells, transferring oxygen to your cells, is regulated by glutathione. That's how important it is. Glutathione and stroke. Low levels of glutathione is an important risk factor for the development of now cerebrovascular disease, and especially of stroke. Okay? Boosting glutathione is a possible therapeutic strategy for the prevention of cerebrovascular disease, including stroke. Glutathione and cancer. Glutathione deficiency or a decrease in the GSH and GSSG. GSSG is the inactive or the oxidized form of glutathione, whereas GSH is the active or reduced form. So a decrease in the GSH and GSSG ratio is not good, and leads to an increased susceptibility to oxidative stress implicated in the development and progression of cancer. So it is accepted that glutathione may reduce the risk of developing cancer. However, elevated glutathione levels, which increases the antioxidant capacity and the resistance to oxidative stress, are also observed in many cancer cells. This is associated with cancer cell survival, resistance to treatment, and metastasis. That means the cancer cells also use glutathione to protect themselves. Okay? Because of this discovery, its role, once cancer has formed, is controversial. In fact, some chemo protocols include depleting glutathione first, using butyramine sulfoxamine, and this is called chemosensitization, right? They want to give chemotherapy, they deplete the glutathione, then the cancer cell lose their protection, then they whack with the chemo. With diabetes, right? The complications of diabetes is literally head to toe. You start from brain damage to your toes getting rotten and have to be cut off, and everything in between. Okay, so many complications of diabetes. And if you are diabetic, you must know about HbA1c. If you're not diabetic, also you should know about HbA1c, and you should know your level. Okay, don't wait until you're diabetic only to learn about this. Right, we all should maintain an HbA1c of 5.5 or below for healthy people. Right, 5.0 is even better, but try not to exceed 5.5. You go to past 5.6, then you go into the pre-diabetic range. Okay, 5.7 to 6.3. Above 6.3, then you are in the diabetic range by HbA1c guidelines. Okay, so what's important of maintaining a low HbA1c? It is every 1% reduction in HbA1c equals a 14% reduction in heart attacks, 37% reduction in the microvascular complications like blindness, kidney failure, and 21% reduction in deaths related to diabetes. This is 1% reduction. Conversely, if 1% increase, then all those figures become plus. Okay, so that's why it's important. Diabetes is associated with low cellular levels of glutathione, which leads to tissue damage attributed to oxidative stress, and diminished glutathione in adult patients with type 2 diabetes is attributed to decreased synthesis, which in turn is due to limited precursor availability. That means the glutathione precursor. Glutathione showed a negative correlation with fasting glucose, right? If you have high fasting blood glucose, you're expected to have low glutathione, okay? So negative correlation. Supplementation with glutathione precursor amino acids, especially cysteine, can restore glutathione synthesis and lower oxidative stress and oxidative damage, okay? So this is from this study reported in the journal, and in fact is the basis of what the research of Dr. Nakasawa is. Glutathione can help prevent or slow down or even reverse the damage to cellular insulin receptors that cause insulin resistance. If this happens, you can say that diabetes is reversed. Receptor damage is caused by free radicals, toxins, chemicals, and other factors, many of which can be neutralized by glutathione. Diabetic hyperglycemia causes an overload of free radicals and inflammatory agents that worsen the diabetes and also cause damage to many organs. Glutathione can help prevent, slow down, or even reverse these complications. And we have had many testimonies here. So in diabetes, the sugar level is just an indicator of how bad the disease is, right? Better translated in the HbA1c. But we are really not worried about the sugar level. We are most worried about the complications, all right, caused by diabetes. Okay, so monitoring of the disease is usually by sugar level, but a more serious issue is the level of damage caused to the organs. So somebody with very bad HbA1c, but organs not damaged, is better off than somebody with better reading HbA1c, but organs already damaged. Okay, and studies have shown that across the many types of organ damage in diabetes, most of them are related to oxidative stress caused by many types of reactive species, right? Reactive oxygen species, reactive nitrogen species, okay, and other forms of free radicals and toxins and inflammatory agents. What's more important here is that glutathione is found to be able to counter all the damage to the organs caused by these many types of molecules. What about neurodegenerative diseases? So in some way, this can be regarded as advanced brain aging. Right? Your brain aging too fast and too far. Mostly due to cumulative oxidative stress, disrupted mitochondrial respiration, and mitochondrial damage. Okay, and these neurodegenerative disorders include Alzheimer's disease and DLB, which are the main causes of dementia, Parkinson's, and even schizophrenia. These changes, to a lesser degree, could also be responsible for the decline in cognitive functions in what we call normal aging. We all know as you go older, your memory declines. Yeah, many things. I mean, your eyesight, your hearing. Okay, so all your functions go down. So what differentiates dementia and normal aging is the moment, so when you cross the line where your normal life is affected by the defect in your cognitive function, then you already crossed the line into dementia. Okay? If forgetfulness sometimes, it's common, leaving our car at the car park and then not remembering, it's quite common. So that's still considered normal. Glutathione is the main protector of the brain against damage by oxidative stress and inflammation, and may protect against stroke. And glutathione protects from dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's disease, Huntington's disease, and other neurodegenerative disorders. And glutathione can be used as treatment for anxiety, depression, and schizophrenia. Okay, this is evidence-based. Right, there are studies also trying to use glutathione as a therapeutic strategy in Alzheimer's disease, because it is known that glutathione is the most abundant endogenous antioxidant in the brain. Oxidative stress is a prominent feature of Alzheimer's disease. Elevation of glutathione in vivo protects brain against Alzheimer's disease relevant amyloid beta. That's a characteristic changes in the brain. Elevation of glutathione in brain induces several protective pathways. What about Parkinson's disease? In Parkinson's disease, glutathione levels are reduced by 40 to 50% in dopamine neurons, right? The brain cells containing dopamine. Boosting glutathione may reduce the risk of Parkinson's disease, and some studies have shown that administering glutathione intravenously can help improve symptoms in Parkinson's patients. Okay. Last but not least, male sexual health. Okay, so for the younger one thinking of making babies, glutathione improves sperm quantity and quality. It helps improve sperm quantity and quality in the terms of form and function, especially motility and ability to fertilize the egg. Hundreds of millions of sperm are produced daily in the healthy, sexually active male, and sperm production and quality are affected by genes, hormones, nutrition, toxins, free radicals, and infection, and glutathione can help improve most of these factors. Okay, then what about your sexual function? Okay, we know testosterone is a very important requirement for male sexuality and sexual function. Earlier on, we talked about testosterone going down just about the same time glutathione is going down. But we also know that the glutathione has a role in testosterone metabolism and testosterone function. Testosterone is produced by the testicles in response to trophic hormones from the brain. Testosterone increases libido and improves health at the heart, muscle, bone, blood, sexual health, and more. And testosterone production is directly related to sperm production. So how does glutathione come in? Glutathione protects the free or active circulating testosterone and the testosterone receptors from harmful and toxic impurities so that they can function effectively better. Okay? Which means, in short, glutathione makes testosterone function better. Right? The hormone itself is free from toxins and all that, and the receptors also free, cleared of toxins and free radicals by the glutathione. Now you have very good connection between the testosterone and its receptors. It's just like the insulin and insulin receptors, right? You have in diabetes, you have insulin resistance. Okay, for some of the men, maybe you have testosterone resistance, or you already have low production. Whatever you have also is not locking into the receptors properly, or the receptors are not able to read the instruction properly. Okay. By the way, the strongest natural method of boosting testosterone is intense exercise, either sprinting or weightlifting or wood chopping. Okay, so men, if you want to stay, or you want to maintain high testosterone as you age, then you must maintain your muscles. Must do gym work or or wood chopping, as long as you maintain. Okay. Glutathione and erectile dysfunction. All right. So apart from the effect in improving testosterone function just now, we talk about nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is required for vasodilation, most relevant in the heart and penis. Glutathione is an essential cofactor for the enzyme nitric oxide synthase that synthesizes nitric oxide from L-arginine. Okay, so these are important factors for male sexual function. Testosterone, glutathione has a role. Nitric oxide, glutathione has a role. Right? In the manufacture of nitric oxide requires glutathione as part of the enzyme system. Glutathione is significantly reduced in those with diabetes compared to those without diabetes. So those with diabetes will have more problem, right? Because diabetes reduces the glutathione, and then glutathione is important for proper testicular function, testosterone function, for proper good synthesis of nitric oxide. So this may part explain why diabetics really have problems with erection. Glutathione has a negative correlation with fasting blood glucose. Okay, earlier on mentioned that if you have high sugar, then your glutathione tends to become low. Okay, so since this was 21 years ago, when Viagra was new, very soon we topped the whole world in terms of Viagra per capita consumption. Okay, so it goes to show how unhealthy Malaysian men are. Okay, we're not finished with the male sexual function. Now we go to one area where as men grow older, then it's almost impossible to avoid. There's so many men who can't face this problem, and that is benign prostate enlargement. Okay, and a small percentage will have to face prostate cancer. Okay, so the important thing is glutathione may protect against both benign prostate enlargement or hypertrophy and prostate cancer. Okay, not sure what I'm talking about. The prostate, there's a prostate gland is there. Okay, at the neck of the bladder. So with BPH, the etiology of BPH is not well understood. Inflammatory mediators, inflammatory genes, hormones, dietary factors, and oxidative stress have been implicated in the development of benign prostatic hyperplasia, okay, BPH. There are significantly increased levels of oxidative stress and DNA damage and decreased level of antioxidant enzymes and glutathione in BPH patients. Prostate tissue damage, okay, and oxidative stress may lead to compensatory cellular proliferation with resulting hyperplastic growth. So just people trying to figure out how and why BPH occurs. And one of the leading theories is oxidative stress. It is possible that BPH represents an alternate non-malignant pathway of unregulated prostate growth promoted by oxidative stress, inflammatory mediators, and other factors. Okay, free radicals play a role in carcinogenesis, and that BPH should be considered a pre-malignant condition which may evolve into prostate cancer. Okay, so the fact that you have BPH already means you are already succumbing to either oxidative stress or inflammation, okay, and other factors. And the same factors may be the factors for prostate cancer at a higher level. Okay? So high oxidative stress parameters and low antioxidant activity are more prominent in prostate cancer patients compared with BPH and controls. Okay, so as mentioned just now, when you put normal BPH and cancer, those parameters, oxidative stress and all is highest in the cancer, right? Less in the BPH and least in the healthy ones. Okay, so it's seem to be the same etiology, same risk factors, but at a higher level, which means there is a potential role of antioxidants, especially glutathione, in preventing BPH and in preventing the progression to prostate cancer. Okay, so again, this is not just mere statement. This is evidence-based from journals. Yeah. Oxidative stress and inflammation are associated with prostate cancer development and progression. Declining levels of glutathione in prostate cells with aging may contribute to prostate problems, either prostatitis, which is inflammation, BPH, enlargement, and cancer. Glutathione and other antioxidants have clearer roles in reducing the risk of developing prostate cancer than in trying to reverse it. Okay, as mentioned earlier on, once you have cancer, then it becomes controversial because the cancer cells themselves can use glutathione to survive and spread. So controversy in the role of glutathione and other antioxidants in cancers is now a big issue. So because of that, let's think about prevention, which is better and easier than cure. But once you get the cancer, then dilemma pula. Huh? So push your glutathione now. If you're thinking of giving somebody some Father's Day present, start the man on glutathione. Okay. So many of these things most men don't know. I, as a doctor, also didn't know this. And I mean, the subject is so big, right? But the more and more you study the role of glutathione in the health, the more and more you become astounded at its usefulness. Yeah. So those of you who have been diligently boosting your glutathione levels, well done. No regrets. Yeah. We only discover more and more benefits. Yeah, of course, we're talking about prostate. Here is a woman say, I got no prostate, but no, even for menopause, right? Even I was surprised when I read that glutathione may protect the bone in postmenopausal women as well as estrogen. Right? Which I never learned when I was a gynae. Okay. Glutathione accelerates muscle building. Right, at gym workout. So you want to stay healthy, you have to keep maintain your muscles. You want to boost your testosterone, you have to maintain your muscles. Glutathione improves testosterone efficiency, improves nitric oxide production. The two of them together not only improve sexual function, but improves muscle growth. Muscle needs both testosterone as a signal and nitric oxide. Of course, it needs it needs more blood flow. So for health and longevity, build some muscle. Okay, so improve your testosterone, improve your glutathione, and build muscle. Okay, the reminder: as we age, our glutathione goes down. So we have discovered all the important things about glutathione specifically for men tonight. So question is, how do we reverse this decline? So how to increase glutathione? Unfortunately, even though plants and animals have glutathione to protect themselves, if we eat food containing glutathione, our glutathione level does not go up, right? Because oral glutathione is not well absorbed. So the way to boost, as mentioned earlier on, scientists have found out is all you need to do is provide the precursor amino acids, and of the three, glutamic acid, cysteine, and glycine, you only need to be concerned with cysteine, the one that is least available in diet and is also fragile because glutamic acid and glycine, that is usually sufficient in the diet. So the most important precursor is cysteine, and the best source right now is ribosine. And what is ribosine? Ribosine is a patented nutrient, D-ribosine L-cysteine, that provides the cysteine, which is easily absorbed and utilized by the body to make glutathione, plus ribose, which is used to make ATP, the energy carrying molecule, and the production of glutathione from cysteine requires ATP. Right, so ribosine already provides you the means to power the manufacture of cysteine. Okay, so these are the two ribosine-based supplement that we have. One is Max1, which is 100% ribosine. And ribosine is 300% better than the next best oral method to boost glutathione, which is NAC. And we have Celgevity, which is ribosine plus 12 other ingredients, which enhance the body's development of glutathione, plus also have many other health benefits, including anti-aging benefits. So Celgevity is an anti-aging powerhouse, and Max1 is a focused ribosine supplement. Okay, so boost your glutathione now, stay young and healthy. Thank you.